Gonna do is we're gonna set this up so that it will hold all day long. So I'm gonna show you what tools we're gonna use that are my go-to favorites. We're gonna use the YS Park Japanese double teasing backcomb. It has a really long rat tail and it has double teeth. So I don't know if you guys can see in there, but this gives you the most incredible backcomb, but it's also manageable and you can brush it out also. And then this is my other favorite comb, also from YS Park, that has super wide teeth. So this is excellent because once you got your curls all set, you can use this to just really gently kind of comb everything out without completely diffusing the curl that you just created. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a bohemian half up style where it's kind of like this in the top, and then we're gonna have a bunch of curls and wave in the bottom that will be pinned up. And then we're gonna have some face framing pieces. So Kelly will have, a little bit around her face just to kind of detail a little bit. She doesn't wear her hair up much. So we want to make sure that she feels comfortable with a total updo. And then we'll have some really pretty pieces kind of folding across the top right here so that from every angle, it's going to look incredible. So when she gets her photos back from her photographer, she's going to be like, oh my God, my hair was actually a masterpiece. So you guys ready? So we're going to break it up into sections. So I like to go from the part line back. It's almost like you're doing a haircut. So you're going to do center, and then you're going to go from the high point of the head to behind the ear, just like you were about to do like a 4-section haircut. And I like to keep everything super organized. I kind of view it like kind of a geometrical architectural project. So I break it down so it's super organized, and that way I know where everything is going to flow to. And it's not going to be a headache later, like, oh my God, where do I put this hair? Or is this the same amount as the other side? Everything is mapped. So we're going to go from the apex of the head to behind the ear, and we'll put all of this away. Just like that. And now this part is going to be divided into like a third, and then we'll have 2/3 of hair down here. So you know how everyone gets that really beautiful bump in like professional updos where this part is like super smooth and sleek and it has like just the right amount of volume? I'm going to show you guys how to create that in a little bit. So for now though, we're just going to start prepping. So what I like to do is we're going to put dry shampoo throughout to make sure we get enough volume and texture. So we're gonna go in with the dry shampoo, and we're just gonna spray section. And today, because Kelly does have some old highlights and bleach in her hair, I am gonna use the F18 Shine Spray because we want to make sure she has heat protection all throughout her hair before we go in and curl. So we're gonna mist from about arm's distance away. You don't want to be too close. And we're gonna comb that through. And then we're gonna go in with the thermal mist. So this is kind of like, I would envision it like an eyeshadow primer if you were doing makeup. This is what you want to put on so that everything else sticks. So we're gonna spray the thermal spray from about arm's distance away also. Just a nice light mist. You don't need a lot. This product's pretty strong. And I always like to comb through to make sure that everything is nice and evenly dispersed. And now we're gonna go in with my favorite curling iron of all time. So this is the Hot Tools extra long barrel in 1.25 inches. She is like the goat in the curling iron world. When you have longer hair like this, you don't want to spend hours curling it. If I was actually doing a wedding, this would take me about 10 minutes. So you want to make it quick and efficient so that you can just really spend more time on actually styling the hair. So I like to do one pass with the curling iron first, and then I'm gonna go in and I start in like the middle of the section, and I'm gonna incorporate both ends at the same time so that we're getting even curl from top to bottom. And then I just hold it for a few seconds. You normally count to like about 10. And then we're gonna do a twist out method. So the ends are still at the bottom, but we get even curl from top to bottom. So let me know if you guys can see it. Like that. And then what I like to do is as I work, I'm going to spray each section as it's cooling to really give the hair the memory. So now we're going to work on the other side. And I always curl front to back on the right side, front to back on the left side. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side, start in the middle of the section. We're going to rotate so the end and the top of the hair are incorporating at the same time. So we're gonna drop that out after about 10 seconds. And then we're gonna let it cool in position. And we're gonna spray with our thermal finishing spray. So next section. Also, too, guys, when you're working and doing updos like this, you do not need to take tiny sections because most of the hair is going to go up in the back. The front is where you can spend a little bit more time curling more tightly if need be. But I feel like the trend in bridal hair right now anyway is not to have it super structured. It's not to have it like a 90s prom kind of style where everything is like coiffed perfectly and has all these cute little clips in it. It's a little more lived in. So now we're gonna work into our next section. We got the dry shampoo, we got our heat protectant, now we've got our hair ball spray. So back here, I'm gonna split this chunk into 3 sections. So we're gonna have the outer side, the middle, and then the side on the right. So the reason I do one pass to start the section is if there's any frizziness, any texture, if it's like bedheaded, it's been slept on, sometimes you'll get like a little bit of frizziness in the root area and you want to kind of combat that a little bit. But we don't always have time to do like a full blowout. So this will help kind of expedite the defreezing. So we're gonna work now to the middle, take this middle piece. And if you have an uneven amount of sections, I just kind of gauge it by which side of the head I'm on. Do I want to go this way or I want to go this way? You guys can choose. Because once again, it's going to be inside the style. There we go. So we'll just for a few seconds and then we'll let that out. Perfect. Does anyone have any questions so far? Product questions, tool questions, setups questions? You can literally fire away. Good modeling. Also talk since I'm not like looking necessarily at the computer. There we go. So we got that outer section done. We're gonna twist. We're gonna let it go in position, and we're gonna spray. So there we go. It's looking so good already. We got lots of body, but it's really smooth. The curls are super shiny. Awesome. So we're moving right along. So it goes quick. We're gonna just like move all the way up through into the crown area, and then we'll move into the sides. Talk a little bit about consultation and how to book bridal clients in general. So when you have a consultation with a bride, I have a pretty in-depth process where we do like an email consultation first. Then I have them come in person and we'll do a trial for, I do hair and makeup normally, so we'll do both. And they'll bring me like inspo photos and they'll, show me their dress. They're going to show me everything that is basically going to make their day so special. And then when we do the trial, I try to make the trial as close to what their hair will look like on the actual day of their wedding, so that when they leave, they feel really confident that it's going to look basically exactly the same. So my trials are about an hour and a half per service. That way I have a ton of time to devote to them. We can talk about all their hopes and dreams, what they love about bridal hair, what they don't love. We'll go over the photos and inspo. And then by the end of it, they feel really confident. I'll tell them, hey, I'm like, I want you to test drive your updo. I'm like, go out, go dancing, go out to dinner, wear it as long as you possibly can, because I really want to know how we can do, have good feedback so that we can do it and improve it even more next time. So, yay, looking so good. So here we go. We're in this like middle area now. We've coiled from the top to the bottom. We're gonna drop it out, let it cool in position, give it a little spray. So is anybody in the chat, is anybody interested in taking more bridal clients? Is that something you guys are interested in? Any thoughts? No?
That is something that I've been trying to kind of decide whether I want to fully like market myself for or not, because I do know there's a need in the town that I'm in. So, but I don't necessarily want to be like booked every single like with a wedding every single Saturday. So,
No,
yeah.
absolutely. That's a great idea. I think what's awesome is you could always just start with like your regular clients that are maybe engaged, have a friend or a family member, and you could just be like, hey, like I'm starting to take on wedding clients, and then it can be word of mouth. It doesn't even have to be something that you sort of like overtly advertise. It can just be something that when you want to do it, you can. And it's an excellent way to make a really good amount of extra money, but it's like on your timeline, because wedding season is kind of crazy now. Like it lasts all year long. Of course, it drops off like in the winter time a little bit. But yeah, you're like, hey, I want to do a wedding this Saturday, but I don't want to take one for months. You totally have that flexibility. I feel like there is the pressure to like commit to being the professional at all the things and do everything, but you really get to decide that yourself.
That is
So
nice.
yeah, it's great. It's really great. It's such a fun way to like, maybe switch it up because being in the salon every Saturday on your feet for hours and hours can be pretty exhausting. What I like about doing wedding services is you start early, you're out early, you made maybe twice as much as you would have in the salon, and then you get to go home and relax. So,
Yeah, that's
so
pretty nice.
there's pros and cons to both. So, what area are you in? You mind sharing with me, like, what part of the
Um,
country?
I'm in a small town in Kansas.
Okay.
I just moved here,
Oh,
so I started my own salon well, I had the opening party on Saturday, so
oh,
um very
congratulations.
like new to the area. So, you
Wow,
know,
I'm so proud. That's amazing. That's a huge feat to move to a different state and then also open a salon. Yeah, that's
yeah,
badass. Very impressed.
it was crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, that's a lot of work. But yeah, and especially being in a new area too, like if you already see that there's a need for bridal hair in your area, like you can very quickly become like the number one on Google. Like once
That's
people
true.
start referring you and then they take photos and you're getting these excellent 5-star reviews, like you will quickly rise to the top. Also, fun fact about Google and SEO, like I don't know if you guys are interested in like that part of like your branding. But something I've been doing recently is after I do a wedding, I have a follow-up text message and an email that goes out saying, hey, thank you so much for choosing me. Like, I loved working with you. And if you are motivated to like leave me a review, I would so greatly appreciate it so I can find like-minded clients like yourself. 9 times out of 10, they will leave you a raving review because it's gentle. You're just like, I loved being a part of your special day. Like, would you mind sharing your experience? And then what I always do as well is send them their photos, even just their prep photos. I'm like, look how pretty you looked in like the ring light, or we're like putting in your veil. Those small details, I think go really far. So recently I've been doing that, you guys, and it's been working so well. I've been getting a bunch of bridal reviews, and I'm like, yeah, yeah. I think we tend to forget about our brides. I think we tend to focus really like on our haircuts and our color and like other services we offer. But yeah, brides need to know that they can trust you that they're going to, and I think that's an excellent way to do it. So, hey, good questions, good questions. I love it. So we are working our way through, just keep it on stepping. And yeah, and Updo is like a really good house. Like it's a great foundation. Like if you don't have your pearls and everything set up really beautifully, it's going to be really hard for you guys to like execute and have everything mapped out properly. So I think of it in like this lower area, this top third, the front two sections, face road. So that way, when I break it down, I'm not overwhelmed. Like, oh God, like what do we do next? Where does this hair go? Like, is everything even? And it really is super helpful. So awesome. Let's talk about pricing. Does anybody have any questions on about how to price your services? I feel like the money part is always stressful for people. So I won't give you guys like exact numbers because it's gonna be different for every single stylist in every part of where you live. But the best way to do it is I just do market research. So I will do a ton of research. I will find every hair and makeup person in my existing like 50-mile radius, and I will look at all their prices, and then I'll take an average of it. And then what I'll do is I'll like account for like, hey, how long have I been doing hair? How expensive is my kit? Am I using premium hair services and hair tools? Then I would make it more. And then some people like to do like packages where they'll do it by like, oh, if you get like X amount of bridal, team members, it'll be this price. And some people like to do it a la carte where it'll just be bride and then independent services stacked on top of each other. But for me, I just do it by service. I feel like it's a lot easier to keep track of. I feel like packages can easily kind of get lost in the sauce and you're like, oh, this person added and then this person was taken off. So I just do it a la carte, have them initial, they pay 50% at the time of booking their trial, 50% 2 weeks before the wedding. And that way it's really easy. It's really easy to keep track of. So, all right, you guys. So we're in this top section now. When I reach the top, I like to split this into two sections. This is going to curl back. This is going to curl back this way. And now we can move on to the side. Also, you guys, if you can in the chat, will you guys drop your Instagram handles for me? Because I will follow you all back. So I would love to connect. That way we can follow up after class if you guys have any questions. I also have links for all the supplies and tools that I use. So I have links for, of course, our F18 products. I have links for like the curling irons and all the combs and clips that I use also. Kind of let these guys cool in position. So let me direct this a little bit lower. I'm so short. Alrighty, guys. So this is the back section done so far. So we've got like a ton of volume. It's really smooth. It's nice and shiny. And you can already see kind of how nicely everything is going to form once we bring this up. So now we're gonna go inside. Oh, I love it. Okay, good job, guys. You're putting your Instagrams in. Yay, yay. So now when we move onto the side area, we're gonna do basically the thing where we kind of set everything up where it's gonna go away from her face. Oh, your looks so beautiful. How do you feel? You're being an excellent model. So we're gonna do a fresh shampoo right in the root in the front. So I feel like most clients, all the density is in the back of their hair, and then in the front, it's like a little bit on like the finer side. So you don't have to take as small of sections. Everybody is like this. All the hair's in the back, usually a little bit less in the front. So we can just kind of divide this into three. That's easier. So we're going to use our Shine Spray Heat Protectant on the ends, protect those blonde bits. Now we're going to go in with the Thermal Mist, my burlesque dancer spray. I actually had a client who does burlesque here in Santa Cruz, and she was like, Ming, it's like I need hairspray that defies gravity, sweat, lights. And I was like, okay, I got you. So she uses this on her hair, and her hair will stay through an entire burlesque show. So that's a testament for Miss Anya. So we let it go in position, give it a little spray. Now we're going to move on to the next. Does anybody need any help with doing trials? Because I know doing trials can be super intimidating just because you haven't met the client usually yet. They're new to you. They can be a little bit intimidating. We've all had a bridezilla or two in our career, and they can be a little bit intense. So I feel like managing expectations is the biggest thing you want to do. You want to really over deliver and just not set their expectations up too high. Don't promise them you're going to give them crazy things if you can't do that. The best thing is to be like, hey, this is what we can do with your hair texture and your inspiration photo. And then when it's amazing and you knock it out of the park, then they're like, oh, I'm so impressed. That's the goal. That's the goal of bridal hair. Alrighty, on to our top section now. So we're gonna do a little bit of extra gray shampoo in here because we're also going to be doing teasing in this area so that we get this really pretty shape. And then when we got the little face frames, it'll just like combine really nicely together. So we're gonna take this. We're also gonna do Kelly's balayage right after this. I feel bad. We're like making it all pretty, and then I'm like, hey, we're gonna brush it out after, okay? So we're gonna let this tool in position, do a little spritz. Can you guys see that? How does she look so hard? That's so pretty. Okay. So I have a little surprise for you guys in store. I don't know if anybody saw my stories or posts, but I actually have some bridal hair accessories and I even got a veil. So I can show you guys how to install a veil in real time. So we're gonna start on this side, we're gonna do some brushing. A little bit of protective. It's funny, when I go on Zoom calls, I talk. Like I'm like, question. So like, be involved. So don't be shy, everybody. No, it's on your mind. So we'll go on the dry shampoo and here, Justin. Perfect. Cool. So I'll explain to you guys a little bit about why I love using F18 for my wedding kits. I feel like I don't need to bring a million products with me. I really only have 5 that are on my tray right now. You've got all the basics covered. You've got your texturizer slash dry shampoo. You've got your thermal mist that's really going to lock in and protect from like humidity and moisture. You've got your hairspray to finish. And then you've got your shine spray for heat protectant and also to comb through at the end. So my kit's pretty minimal. Like when I travel, I don't really need like a huge amount of hair equipment, which is really nice. And it has like all textures and all styles of color also covered. So if you've got some really blonde clients, or if you have natural clients that just need like a little bit of shine added, so you've really got all the things you need. So, and it's also plant-based, which people love, and it smells good. All right, you guys, we're almost ready to actually like put this bad boy up. So I feel like this is pretty standard. Most people sort of know how to do a traditional kind of like soft beachy glam wave application. But now we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually start structuring this. So perfect. So we're gonna do a final little coat of hairspray before we get into the next step. So first, let's just take a look at Kelly and look up the bridge. So there we go. So here are the curls all set up. We've got a ton of volume. It's really shiny and everything is in like the right position for where the updo will now live. So this back. So once again, I'm gonna keep the front from the ear forward out of my way. So I just kind of like scooch it like this. And now we're gonna use these upper sections and we're actually just gonna lift them as is. So I don't go digging through the hair because there's already rows kind of established for me. So this top row, see how nice and clean that is? You could actually just lift just this top part up and over direct it. So that way we can start building in the volume. So when I'm doing a travel with a client, I always ask them, do you like light, medium, or high volume? Because every client is going to be different. I feel like the more modern bride is shooting for like light to medium. Super high is not super popular, at least where I'm at. It's more lived in, it's more bohemian, kind of more natural feeling. So we're gonna do, Kelly, what type of volume do you feel like today? Light, medium? Light to, oh, okay. We got a light to medium hold in the house. Excellent. So that means I'm not gonna direct this hair way over here because I don't need the tease to be insane under here. I'm just making like a soft pillow for this hair to lay back on. So we're gonna just have it slightly past 90 degrees. We're gonna give it a little mist with the dry shampoo. And now this is where this comb really shines because it has these double rows of teeth. You can really catch the hair just really tightly with great tension. We're gonna go just past 90. We're gonna put the comb in and we're just basically gonna build up the volume. I know teasing can look terrifying, but it is like my go-to for building up all structure in an updo. And then I'm gonna literally just lay this forward. So it's just been teased, we pushed it forward. Now I'm going to take the next 2 pieces directly below this because this is also part of the volume and this like chignon area in the top we're going to do. So we're going to direct this also up, straight up, a little past 90, pop a little bit of dry shampoo under here. I like to hold this with really tight tension so the hair is not moving too much, and then we're gonna build this up. So that feels like a good amount in my opinion. I like to lay it back down. I like to check it. This part under here, nobody will be seeing. So you can leave this a little bit more kind of wild and textured so that way when this, your upper section lays on top, that is all resting on the foundation of teas we just created. So does that sound good? Does that look good, you guys? So my favorite go-to hack for this type of updo is we're actually going to use rubber bands a lot. We're going to use like the tiniest little clear ones, like for babies, or if we're doing like box braids. So let me show you guys where this is going to come into play. So since Kelly wants light to medium hold for her teas, I'm just going to very gently comb the upper surface of the hair back. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but actually tilt your head up for me, Kelly, a little bit, babe. So see how we've got like a really nice shape here? It's like moderate. It's not Texas. It's not huge way up here. It's like right in the middle. So once we get the shape kind of smoothed out the way we like it, I'm going to teach you guys a little bit of a hack with our can of hairspray. Not even the hairspray itself, but the can. So you're going to mist the hair, and then you're going to take the can and you're going to smooth all of the strands back. So you can do that as many times as you want, but your hands have oil on them and they also can be staticky. And we're trying to get this upper area smooth. So you can actually do this with any can of hairspray because it's cold metal. It's actually great at anti-frizzing your hair. So now we're going to take our little tiny stretchy hair tie. We're going to pop this right below where the round of the hair is. So right for Kelly, it's like right here. And we're just going to secure this. I like to make sure it's straight on with the part. Everything lines up really well. I'm pretty OCD and neurotic, so I like everything to be as symmetrical as possible. So can you guys see now? We've got this beautiful bump, and now we've got this beautiful kind of chignon area that I can actually move. So I'm like, oh, I want it higher. Oh, I want it lower. And then we can just leave it in position as is. So in my kit, I'm going to show you guys like my bobby pin box. I don't know if you guys can see this okay. So I have almost all the colors I would ever need. I've got brown, I've got blonde, I've got black, I've got a bunch of hair ties in different colors. And then I also have French pins. I think that's what these are called, the ones that look like this. And then I also have them in black. So that way I can make sure I can do like any style of updo for any color of hair. So next up, we're gonna grab just a couple of like a golden brown bobby pin, and we're actually gonna crisscross underneath inside of here. So the hack that I learned 20 years ago when I started doing updos is that all your pins, A, should be hidden. If you have a good updo, you should never see a bobby pin in anybody's hair. So we strive for excellence always. We're always going to make sure our pins are hidden, especially on camera for high def photography and weddings. The shine on the metal is very noticeable. So that's why when I finish my trial and when I'm on location on the day of, I always take photos because I want to make sure I'm not seeing any reflection of metal in the hair. So let's pop this in, shall we? So we're going to start from this side on the right. We're actually going to weave not through the band, but we're going to go like up slightly above the band. And we're going to go up at a soft diagonal. So the pins are going this way. Then we're going to come on this side and we're going to go this way. So we're making like a soft X shape. So that way it'll be really structurally sound. So this is like the foundation of everything else we're going to do. So we got the right side in. Now we're going to go right underneath and we're going to pop the left side in. I also like to ask my client if they're comfortable. So Kelly, do you feel any poking so far? No. Okay, amazing. Always check in with your client. If you have a sensitive head like I do, having pins stabbed into your noggin, it's really uncomfortable. So as I'm doing updos, I like to check in and be like, hey, everything's feeling good. Is there any tightness, any pulling? Because we want to make sure that they have like the best experience ever with you and rave about you on Google and send you all clients. So we're going to do a couple extra, same patterning. Kelly has a lot of hair, so we want to make sure this holds all day. We're going to go through here. Perfect. Amazing. So that is sort of like the base of everything we're going to work around. So we're going to turn Kelly to the side so I can start showing you guys what we're going to do next. So we have like a bunch of different ways we can do this, and I really let the hair dictate how the style should look. Because if you fight a client's natural texture and density, it's just going to not look as good as it could. So with Kelly, I'm seeing that these pieces of hair right here want to live across here. That would be perfect for her. And then same on this side. So we are going to work with what nature gives us. So we're going to leave these out for the moment and we're going to put them into the style once this part has been put up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use another baby hair tie. So Kelly, I'm going to look down for me a little bit. Beautiful. So what I like to do is I like to grab the entire lower portion of the hair, including the ponytail from this upper area. We're going to use a little bit of shine spray underneath, and I'm going to use that same back combing comb, and I'm going to pull gently. I'm not digging the comb like into the interior of the hair. I'm really just skimming the surface. So that way I can get all of these really cute little baby hairs on the bottom into one location. Then what I like to do is just gently use a little bit of hairspray, kind of run my fingers up to combine everything. And now we're going to put a band right here. So the other band I use is kind of small. Now I'm going to use a clear band, but it's a teensy bit thicker so that it can actually support the weight of how much hair we're going to put into it. So we're shooting for like low, messy bohemian updo here. So we're going to put the band right below the other band that we had placed earlier. There we go. Having nails is great, and then sometimes it's not because it gets stuck in everything. Wow. There we go. So then we can just divide this down the middle, kind of tighten it up on both sides. Also, look how pretty this is. If we just did like a little overlapping moment, like, bam, isn't that so cute? And then you could literally just pull a little bit back from the front and pin this. So versatile. So I'm telling you guys, this is the foundation for all the good things you'll ever need to know. But I promised you guys bohemian and half up. So we're gonna do it this way. So if a client has super crazy long, thick hair, there's a couple different ways you can do this, and I'm gonna show you both ways. So we've got all these beautiful curls, but we want it to be like a little bit more like a disheveled feeling. So what I like to do is take like two pieces of hair that are sort of like twisted together, and I like to put a tiny band at the end, just like this. And then this is the hack that I don't know. I feel like it's changed my whole career. It's so simple. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna hold the band with one hand, put a little bit of dry shampoo to kind of rough up the texture on the other. Now you're gonna grab just a part of the ponytail, not the whole thing. You're gonna grip the band with one hand, hold the other piece of hair with the other, and you're just going to pull. And then rotate your placement. So we pulled this one. Now we're gonna move this out of the way. We're gonna pull the next one. Next one. So now we've done like three different pulls. So do you see how it took her this section from being like pretty small now to being like almost double the size? So this is like my favorite hack for a lot of clients that maybe have a lot of hair, but we want it to look even more. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pin, we're gonna twist. And what I like to do is kind of hold it in the general area where I'm like, oh, okay, this is looking pretty good. And then I'll open the pin and just weave it through multiple sections of the hair and then slide it right up and on into the design. And with this part, you don't necessarily have to crisscross your pins because we also don't want to like crush the actual shape that we're making. So what I like to do is I'll just go throughout the strand and just make sure I'm anchoring the bobby pins in really nicely, make sure they're just really snug. Another fun thing I do is at the end of my appointments is I'll have my client do the dance test. So I'll actually have them like shake their hair pretty violently for me because I want to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. Perfect. So now you get to be a little more creative. You get to just like decide where the shape should live and what looks best on your client. And then of course, keeping in mind their inspiration photo. So there we go. So we've got one chunk in. And what I love about like the Bohemian updos is they can be sort of like messy and loose and disheveled. And I feel like they look even prettier on camera. So now we're going to take another tiny clear band and we're going to do the same trick. So for Kelly, it's going to be like 3 sections on the bottom. So we've taken like that one ponytail, divided it into 3. And now we're going to just create like kind of like a low chignon bun with these pieces. So now put our little hair tie in. And then we're going to just pull our sections. We pulled one section. Now we're going to pull another section. And then another thing you guys can do too is just gently pull the tendrils within the banded area. And then like, look how big that looks. It looks so pretty. So we're going to leave that one down for a second. And then we're actually going to move on to our third one. So that way I can make sure everything is balanced when I put it up. So third section, little baby band. A little bit of spray. Now a little pull, just to make sure everything is kind of moving the way we want it to. Little pull. Beautiful. Also, I love it because Kelly's hair is so blonde at the bottom. I like seeing all like the change in tone as well. So I'll have you look down for me, Kelly. So what we're gonna do now is I feel like this piece wants to live this way. So what I'm gonna do is kind of clip this out of the way for right now. And I'm gonna sort of make it circular underneath and pin underneath more at the base of her head. What's cool about this is I can now tuck the tail inside of here and nobody even knows that there's a hairband there. So we're gonna tuck this in with a pin, make sure it's nice and tucked out of our way. And then these blonde pieces, I'm gonna do something fun with these in a second. So we're gonna leave these to the side. Now this piece is kind of telling me that it wants to live this way. So we're gonna wrap it around this way and then we'll tuck the band inside the design. There we go. And when I put the bobby pins into the shape back here, you guys, I kind of like wiggle it in. So that way it's nice and secure. And then you also will not see the bands anywhere. So under here now, we're gonna kind of tuck this in. Like here. Wiggle. And then once you get like the style kind of how you want it, you can kind of like break it up a little bit or move things around. So these little blondie pieces are super cute. So we're just gonna kind of twist these and like place them inside. Any questions so far? Any thoughts?
I just really liked the pulling technique with the rubber bands. That was just cool. I liked that.
Yeah. Oh, yay, guys. Thank you. Yeah, you know what's funny is I think I learned that from doing bubble braids. And then I was like, oh, why don't I just do this like in an updo?
No, yeah,
And
it
it just,
makes like so much sense. And I've
right?
just never thought to do it in an updo. Like, I don't know why, but
Totally. It's kind of crazy, like how there's so much crossover, I feel like, in hair and beauty in general. And it just takes that one time that you like have that eureka moment and it changes like the whole trajectory of how your process is. It's pretty cool. That's why I love this industry. It's literally, there's never a dull moment. Like you are always learning and being inspired. It's amazing. So I'm glad that helped. Thanks, guys.
yeah, I
So
totally
now
agree. There is really never a dull moment.
Yeah, no, totally. So now we have these two cute little extra pieces. So I'm going to teach you a fun little hack. So this time we're not going to use a rubber band because we don't want it to be visible at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the section, we're going to take our back combing comb, and you're just going to hold real tight with one end, but you're actually going to back comb the entire section. So then when you lay it across, you've got like all these cute little wispy pieces and it makes it look super dreamy and just more interesting overall. So what I like to do when I start pinning the sides is I'm going to flatten out a little bit right just past the round of her head. And then we'll do a little bit of a squish and get this in there. All right, Kelly, just not more go in there. And then when we come onto this side, you can just sort of drape this piece across. And then this is where like the other style of bobby pins comes into play. So we've got like the French pin style where it's not a closed bobby pin. And what I'll do is I kind of insert the tip into the curl and then I roll it back and into the design. So that way it's like not super like flattened. It keeps everything very three-dimensional without it being like too loose, if that makes sense. Because sometimes I'll see people just kind of like drape it across and pin it barely, but it still needs to be structurally sound because we're about to put a veil in the top. So yay. Okay, cool. So we'll just pin this cute little hair over here. Now we're gonna bring it back. Okay, question, guys. I'm gonna let you vote on this. Do you guys want to see a crystal hairband and a veil, or do you guys want to see hair clips and a veil, or just a veil? You guys have options. Let me show you what they look like. So I've got a headband style that has loops at the end that would be inserted over the style like this, or it can be underneath like this. So I was going to show you guys like whichever technique you would prefer. I also have small, just like open pin style that will be inserted in like this. And then we have like a traditional veil with a comb. So if you guys want to vote now, let me know. Because I'll do whatever you guys want to see. And while you think, I'm going to turn this little guy. We're going to hold again. We're going to do a little bit of a back combing technique. We're going to twist Kelly so you could see. Because she also does have some like shorter layers in the side from like, like a long layered haircut. So this is a great way to incorporate all of those little pieces without them looking like they're not supposed to be there. So we're going to just like twist them all, kind of incorporate them in, drape it across the top, grab some French pins, and I open it up, roll it in, insert, and push. Is anybody else in class actually taking brides right now? Is anyone like actively doing bridal hair? No. Oh, I haven't been scrolling down, guys. I'm just gonna take a second to check the chat. Let's see. Veil and headband. Okay, Gina, I hear you. I hear you. I love it. Okay, Ashley says, what do you do if a bride comes in with an inspo photo, something you don't know how to do? How do you navigate that? That is also an excellent question. So a lot of times I actually will save myself the trouble of that by when a client emails me, because most of my brides email me, I will have them send me their inspiration photo first. That's the first thing I want to see. Before I even see them in person, I want to know because sometimes clients will drop the craziest looking things on you and you're like, I have no idea how to do that. And I feel like bridal hair is a lot of it is just learning by practicing. So if they bring you something that's like you've never tried, you've never seen before, you do the research. You would ask like friends, other stylists, you look on YouTube, Instagram, maybe find an educator that really inspires you that has like bridal classes, either like online or through a course, and then just study, practice on friends, practice on a mannequin, and you really will figure it out. And you know what? You don't really know until you just do it, and you'll learn as you practice. So, great question, Ashley. So good. Oh, Kylie, I love a good aha moment. Okay, amazing. Okay, we're doing veil and headband. Slay. So, when you do a headband, this is when you put it in. So, I don't know if you guys actually know that, but see how we have the front sections undone still? You're not gonna wait till this is all finished and then put the headband in. We're gonna put the headband in now. So a lot of times when they come from wherever they were purchased, they're kind of like funny feeling. So they need to be sort of like stretched and kind of molded to the shape that you want. So before you even start pinning or doing anything, you're going to sort of hover the headband over your client's head and see how the placement feels. So I can tell in this area, these are all kind of like doing the wrong thing. So I'm going to push all these rhinestones up a little bit because I don't want them flat because they're going to hook in her hair and they're going to mess up this area. So let's go ahead and we'll pry this open. And then we're going to kind of place it kind of where we want it. Oh, it looks so good. Okay. So I'm going to drop Kelly down a little bit lower. And then I'm going to show you guys how to pin this. So right in the sides here, we have a little tiny pocket of where that little curl that we just pinned lives. So we're gonna actually put the loop of where we're gonna pin it inside. What if they want to take off after the ceremony? We spoke this before. Good question, Gina. So that's something I would ask the bride. A lot of times, hair accessories like this, they will keep the entire ceremony, reception, and after party, whatever they're going to do that day. The veil, no. So I'm actually going to do the veil install and I'm going to take it out to show you guys what it would look like because I will actually teach like the mother of the bride or the like maid of honor how to take the veil out for them post ceremony because it's a little terrifying, right? You just worked for hours like making this pretty, and then you're just gonna let a bridesmaid take it out. It could be disastrous. So I show them exactly how I place it, and I also show them how I take it out. And then I also give my clients a touch-up kit. So I call it me in a bag. They're gonna get mini hairspray, they're gonna get bobby pins, anything they would need to fix this. Because yeah, we don't want them destroying our beautiful work we just did, right? So we're gonna open up a traditional bobby pin. We're gonna place it inside the loop that comes on these headbands. They're designed for either ribbon or pins. I never do the ribbon. I just think it's kind of bulky and it feels a little bit too like a flower girl type of vibe. So I'll just plop the pin right in here. Then I use my finger and just secure it. Just like that. And then same thing on this other side. Sorry. Oh, you look so pretty. Okay, can you guys see okay? So on this side, we've got our pin open. We're gonna take the little tail where the metal loop is and we're gonna tuck it inside of here. So that way when we pin this and slide the pin down, we actually have something to kind of like go over it. So it kind of like will hide that area for us. Cool, cool. Okay, any more questions? Check. Sorry, Kelly. Okay, this already looks so good. So now we're sort of in the final stages of actually styling hair. So I would usually ask my client, hey, Kelly, how much hair would you like to see down the frame of your face? And then Kelly could tell me her thoughts, whatever she thinks, like a little bit, a little bit. So what I normally will do is take a triangular section, almost like I'm doing like a baby, like money piece. So it'll be a tiny little V just in the front, and I'll start with just a tiny bit. And then I kind of look and I'm like, oh, that's cute, but it could be more. And then I'll do a little bit more. Any more questions? Okay. So then I'll do another slightly deeper V section. And I'll bring it. Oh, see, I like that amount. That's perfect because that's good. Cool. And then some clients will like it where a little bit of hair is brought down just like behind, like in front of their ear. Some clients like it right here as well. Not everybody does, so I would ask. But I feel like that looks good because it just kind of gives a little bit of continuation from the money piece area to like where her earring is. So now this part is one of my favorite parts of the whole updo. So I hope you guys can see it. Get it closer. Perfect. So I love to build up the volume in the front. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna focus on doing just a little bit of teasing, like right in here. It already has a bunch of dry shampoo in it, so we don't really need to put anything else. From basically the part line to like her temple, just like build that up just a little bit. So we have like a little more pillow action. So now we're gonna smooth out the top ever so slightly. And now what we're gonna do is you can take this in like one whole section or you can break it into two, depending on how much hair your client has. For Kelly, I kind of want to do it in one. So what I'll do is I kind of get it sort of like middle of the section, like right about here, I lift it up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my rat tail comb, I'm gonna put it in behind the section, and I'm gonna turn. So I don't know if you guys can see that. But basically, we've just guided this entire section to live. Like basically, it looks like the hairband like comes out of her hair. And it just looks so much more sort of like, I don't know, it's like more combined and just feels better, the flow of everything. So we'll do that again. So I put my rat tail comb in right behind here, and then I twist. So this is what it looks like across the back. And that's so pretty. I love it. So now what we're gonna do, because these are Kelly's shortest and most face framing pieces, I am going to start pinning it like immediately before it starts to move. So I go in at an angle and I just start securing it all the way across. See, now this pin, that pin's like in a really blonde area. We're actually going to move that because it's showing the color of the pin too much for my liking. So we're going to go all the way across. Beautiful. So pretty. So now we're going to do the other side. So we're going to match up the face framing pieces in the bang. Easy peasy. Right in here. Pull this down a little bit. Do a little bit of teasing. We'll break this front section into two pieces. Little tease. Tease. And then smooth out the top. Make sure everything looks really good. Really like nice and combined. And then I am right-handed, so sorry if this looks awkward. But I'm gonna use my rat tail comb and then I'm gonna twist like away from myself. There we go. And then we just overlay the tendrils across the back, like that. And then we're gonna co-insert that way. And then we'll finish everything off with hairspray at the very end. So we don't have to worry too much, especially when you're like in the designing stages of everything. You really don't want to like spray too much because you want flexibility of working time so you can actually move it around. So this is how she's looking so far though. Yes, it is a YS Park comb, Gina. I have links for all the YS Park tools that I use. So if you guys need help finding somewhere to purchase them from, I can help you with that. So this is about the point before we put in the veil, I would have my client check it. So I would take photos of the back, I would spin her around in the mirror, show her everything, make sure she's like 100% loves it. Because once that veil goes in, it's a little more risky. So, but I think overall it's looking so pretty. We've got like some tendrils, we got some softness and dimension. And now we're gonna go through and spray everything a little bit. Spray on the eyeballs. Do you guys want to see it from the front? Oh my gosh, I love it. We might have to get the camera closer though. Let's try this. Okay, guys, you're coming with. But yeah, see how nice and smooth this is? The shine that is right here, and then like the hair comb headband ties in so nicely. She's got like a little bit of tendrils. She's got like a really good shape going on under here. And now we're gonna do the veil, okay? Amazing. Peter. Perfect. You got some good questions in here. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, also Gina was asking, yes, wise part comb, absolutely. Do you have any hacks when a bride doesn't want her ears to show on the sides? Yes. Okay, Emily. So you would do the same technique where you do the little bit of combing and do the little twist action, but instead of going up a little bit higher, like we had Kelly put on like really pretty earrings today, but you would do the same movement, but you would drop the section way down lower and then bring it back and across. And then I would actually kind of spray it as I worked to make sure that all of this hair was staying like in position below her ear. It's a little bit tricky though, because when you start going that low, especially if they have any sort of layering in the front of their hair, those layers are going to want to start escaping. So I always just tell them, hey, we can cover your ears, but you have to be okay with the fact that some of this hair will fall out and it's going to look a lot more kind of messy and bohemian by the end of the evening. So I hope that, did that help? Did that answer? Sorry, there's a car alarm going off outside. Yes, F18 does not have a powder right now. But yeah, Emily, let me know in the chat, or if you want to talk, you can totally let me know if that would help. Okay, guys, let's do some veil action. Let's do this. So let's go. Where's the top? Okay. So here we go. So we have our beautiful veil here. She's a traditional comb style. So the way you're going to place this into the hair is it's going to follow the curvature of the head. So the teeth are rounded and the fabric lays over it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get in nice, tight and cozy here. So we're gonna go in at a soft angle. So I'm gonna go in at, I don't even know what angle this is, but slightly angled, and then I kind of hook the hair. Then I'm going to round the comb out and insert it down. When I push down, I'm doing like a zigzag pattern back and forth. I'm not just shoving straight down with all my force because it's gonna pull out this volume. So we're gonna go in at an angle, we're gonna go in, and then we're gonna just gently wiggle, just like that. Nails are heavy, huh? I know, it's heavier than I was thinking. Also, I'm wearing tulle and then this is tulle and we're like sticking to each other. Oh, okay, guys, look at how pretty. I love it. Okay, so this is how we're going to install this comb. So I always do like 4 bobby pins, 2 on each side, crisscross applesauce on the corners, okay? So we're gonna go in here. And like you kind of have to dig around because the comb is like way inside here now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in at an angle. You'll feel when the pin goes in that you're hooking the comb. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna support it because this thing's pretty heavy and you're just gonna push in and down. And then same thing on the other side. You're gonna open up your pin. You're going to kind of open up the hair a little bit so you can see right where that comb starts. You're going to go in, you're going to hook it, and you're going to push down. Just like that. Beautiful. How does that feel so far, Kelly? Can you give me a little spin? Give me a little head movement? Cool. It feels good. So we don't have it moving. Everything is stationary. We could use 2 pins on either side if we needed to, but because the foundation under here with the bands, with all the twists, with all the pins, I feel safe enough to say that this should be fine. So now I'm going to teach you guys how to take the veil out. So this is what's really important that you set up your client for success. You're going to give them pins to take with them because the last thing you want is a client's hands digging around in here. It will ruin everything in the back. So it doesn't really matter what style of bobby pin you have. I'll just use like a French pin because it's a little more open. So what we're going to do, we're going to open it up. We're going to make sure we use our finger to like hold the hair out of the way. I'm going to go in. This one's not strong enough. So we'll use a traditional one. We're going to go in, we're going to hook it, and we're going to very gently pull the pin back out like that. And so far, so good. Everything seems like it stayed in place okay. So now we'll do the same thing on this side. We're going to open up the bobby pin. We're going to hook the little eye of this pin on this side, and we're going to pull it out. Boom. So now the moment of truth, when we take it out, how's it gonna look? So once again, you're gonna support the fabric so it's not pulling tension on her hair. And now we're just gonna very gently wiggle it out, go nice and slow, kind of support the foundation here. There we go. And then I keep it kind of flush with her hair as I pull it out. So I don't pull away this way. I'm going with the round of her head so that the comb hopefully won't pull a bunch of hairs out as we don't want them to. So there we go. Go ahead and look up for me, Kelly, a little bit. We only had literally one little piece of separation right here. But that is such an easy fix. We can literally just kind of scoot the hair back into position, give it another little spray, and bring it all back in like that. Awesome. Yay! Alrighty, you guys. Well, that was basically an hour, but now I want to do like a Q&A with you guys. So does anybody want to see the veil reinstalled or does everybody feel good about that? Everybody feel good? Yeah, everybody got it? Okay, amazing. Alrighty, Kelly, I'm gonna let you get up because I think you want to stretch your little leggies and then we'll take some photos in a second too. I want to take photos with the black though. You know? Okay. So yeah, if you want to get up and take a break or anything, then I'll talk to the girls for a sec. Yeah, go for it. Okay, we'll get to look at Kelly more when she comes back in 1 second. But do we have any other questions for me? Product ideas, thoughts on products, what to carry in your kit, how do you pack your kit? where to buy supplies. I can help you guys with all of that. Don't be shy. Talk to me. I won't bite. No, no Bob? Okay.
Came in a little bit late, so I didn't get to hear all the products that you used. I heard the hairspray and dry shampoo, but that's it.
That's it? Okay, I got you, Gina. So the way I normally set up most of my updo clients, it's pretty simple. So yeah, we started with the dry shampoo, helps absorb any oil, kind of makes the hair more airy, so it'll just kind of move the way I want it to. And then I'll do a heat protectant all over, avoiding the root, mostly just kind of ears down, especially if they have color in their hair, they're blonde, or even if they're like a graying client, just because the hair is like a little bit more kind of like difficult to work with. So I'll use the Protect and Shine or the Shine Spray. They're kind of synonymous, like they're basically a similar product. And they're a great heat protectant and they just help you detangle the hair really nicely. So this is my go-to. I use this on like every client in the salon as well. And then the thermal mist is like my burlesque dancer spray, I call it, because this is what will be anti-humidity. It's really good at like priming the hair before you curl. It just locks the hairstyle in all day. And then of course our firm hold finishing spray to finish it all. So, and I will take full photos of everything and then on Instagram, like Gina, we're already friends on Instagram. I can send you links of what I use and where to get everything. So, yeah, I'll make it super easy for you guys. Thank you, Gina. And then Ashley had a question, what do you include with a touch-up kit? So what I include with a touch-up kit is I include a mini travel size hairspray. I unfortunately have to use a different brand because I don't think F18 has any mini travel hairsprays right now. Courtney, we need that. And then I'll put in a little bit of bobby pins just like this so that they can take the veil in and out, fix anything if it feels loose. I also put in my business cards and I put my stickers in there. And just like anything like promotional wise that I want to share with them. Sometimes I'll give them a comb or like a little tiny edging comb, which I'll show you what those look like because I have it right here. So I have these guys, they're used for like laying down your edges. Sometimes I'll give a client one of these as well to take with them. Okay, what are common mistakes you should see that stylists should avoid when doing bridal hair? I think the biggest mistake I see is pins. Just pins everywhere, just exposed when the person turns. You can see the metal. Another thing that I feel like is a common mistake I see is where people take sections that are not flowing with the head. So whenever you take like any sort of sectioning with an updo, you never want to see the client's scalp. That's like your goal. So you always want to be taking sort of like soft diagonal downward, diagonal back sectioning so that the scalp is always concealed. And then if it does, sometimes it is on the thinner side, it will be exposed a little bit. So what you're gonna have to do is just like open the hair out a little bit more and spray it. So those are probably my two biggest ones. How do you manage time on your wedding day? Okay, so how do I manage time? I always write out a schedule ahead of time. Even if I don't stick to it, I still write one and I actually have ChatGPT write me my schedules because my brain doesn't work very well with time. The ADHD kicks in, I can't figure it out. So I have ChatGPT reverse create me a schedule. So I'll say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to be done at 2:30. I have 8 clients, hair and makeup. They're going to be overlapped. How do I schedule it? It'll spit me out a schedule. Takes so much stress off of me. That's the most stressful part, I feel like, is doing the schedule. And then, of course, having an assistant, Ashley, somebody that can help you, who can prep for you, who can curl for you, and then you focus on the design aspect of it. And those are probably my biggest tips of time management. And then, of course, just being prepared. Like, make sure you have all the things, always overpack than underpack. You never know what you may need. So, what should you prep your clients here with the evening before? Okay, excellent question, Gina. So, if they say they're going to get married on a Saturday, if they live locally, I would have them come in on a Friday to come in and do the F18 clarifying hair treatment. What that's going to do is it's going to get rid of hard water, buildup, medication, color, product, pretty much anything that we don't want in the hair. Because you know how clients are like, oh, I washed it myself, it looks great, and it still feels like there's a bunch of buildup in it. So the F18 clarifying treatment is plant-based and will literally get rid of anything in the hair that shouldn't be there. Then we do a hair mask with the plant-based reinforcing drops. I put a processing cap, let them sit for 5 minutes, and then I blow out their hair with minimal product. And that will give you like the best updo possible. So I almost never have a client come in with dirty hair. So
There's nothing for like humidity. You know, how, like people will use what is that other one? The blow. It's like the color wow that's like supposed to be for
yes,
if you
the
have some.
shine. Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause I have
So
all F18 stuff too, so I know all the products too.
yeah, so you're familiar totally. Yeah, I feel like so I want the hair shiny, hydrated, conditioned, but I don't want it so incredibly slippery
Okay.
that it's gonna like sort of reject anything I'm trying to build in. So when I do like the hair mask and stuff for the client, I wouldn't do it like ears and above.
Okay.
Like I would just focus on like the ends of their hair. Because yeah, we still want it to like be manipulative, right? Like we want to be able to like move it and tease it and spray it. So yeah, those were all really good questions, you guys. I loved it. Well, I'm gonna take some little after photos right now with Kelly. And then I'm gonna put them on my Instagram and I'm gonna tag you all for joining me because I really appreciate it. This is my first Zoom ever, so I was like, I don't really know how we're supposed to set this all up, but hopefully it turned out good for you guys and you learned something today. So yay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ming. This whole thing will be on our YouTube channel at F18 Hair. If you have
Okay.
any questions, you can hit up Ming, you can hit up F18. We are all here for you. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for your contribution and hanging out with me and spending your day off learning something hopefully new, but I'm only a message away. You know, please reach out at any point if you want, and I will send by DM all those links for products and stuff that you may need. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thank you
Awesome.
for
Bye,
being here.
everybody.
Bye, Courtney. Bye, everyone. Thank you.